everyone. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am back. First show for 2025. I am your host, Cynthia Linox. I hope you had a fantastic holiday season. Ours was epic. We did something totally different. We've spent Christmas in other countries before. It's just great. It's just a different flavor. It's just a different taste, just a different energy to experience that. But this time it was in Costa Rica. We were having such a great time that my husband, he decided that he wanted to extend our vacation, extend the time. And so we were able to see all the family members. Now, we went to Costa Rica last year, but we went to the beach. And whenever you plan to go, whenever you go, fly into Liberia, there's San Jose, which is the capital, fly into Liberia, and then you go to Guanacaste, they have beautiful beaches. And, when we go, we stay at this private condo, and there's everything, in the facilities, gym and tennis and basketball and horseback riding and the beach and the restaurant and all that. So you could just stay there and do nothing. But of course, we go out to other restaurants outside of the property. Very nice. But this time we stayed in the city, and a lot of the activities that we did had to do, we were in like the mountains. They have an extensive rainforest in Costa Rica. You cannot just chop down a tree in Costa Rica. If you chop it down, you better plant one. The ecosystem in Costa Rica, is well preserved. That's why you have a lot of beautiful natural surroundings. And when it rains, oh my goodness, it is beautiful. As a matter of fact, we went to the volcano, El Volcán Poás, and that day it was raining, and it was very cold and lots of wind. So it wasn't the best day for us to view the actual volcano, but it was just nice. As a matter of fact, when it rains in Costa Rica, it's a totally different type of rain. I don't know what I mean. Of course, it's water, but it's just different. You don't. As a matter of fact, when we went to the volcano, they give you these raincoats so that you could go as far as you want. And if you could take the cold, then it becomes a pleasant experience. But we were all the way up in the mountains. So then we came down and we ate at this restaurant. But before that, we stopped at the Brit farm. Brit is the coffee that Starbucks buys from Costa Rica to serve. Of course, they have different coffees, but Brit is one. And we went to that farm. It's like a restaurant. The farm is there, and but the restaurant it's open. It's like an open facility, and it's beautiful. And they have snacks and cookies and all types of drinks and of course coffee. So we were able to experience Costa Rica on another level, a different flavor. My husband is from Costa Rica, but he's been gone for a long time, so things have changed. There are a lot of new things and just different things. And of course, when you're hanging with a different generation, I just love it because their idea of fun, of pleasure is totally different. And I so enjoyed it. Then we went to another, one of the things about Costa Rica, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have Costa Rica on your bucket list, take it off, and make it your next destination, because bucket list just keeps accumulating places to go based on recommendations that you get from your friends when they travel or things you have read. I'm just telling you, take Costa Rica off your bucket list and make it your next travel destination. But one of the things that make Costa Rica so delightful, it's its people. Costa Ricans are the friendliest people on earth. It is true, and it's cultural. Everybody. I marry a Costa Rican, and he is adorable. My husband he's my sweetheart. He's adorable. Over 3 decades together, and I still adore my husband. But anyway, wherever you go, people are going to treat you with such kindness, such attention. You go to a restaurant. As a matter of fact, in the restaurants, when you order and you're done, the tip is added in, is factored into your bill. And that's one place that I said to my husband, I don't mind at all, because you are guaranteed that the service is going to be great, and the food is good. When we were there, we decided we did not want any Western food. We didn't want any barbecues. We didn't want any chips and uh, fries, French fries. We don't want any of that. We wanted local foods. We wanted the local food. So we went to this restaurant. It's called, well, it has a mirador. Mirador means it's like, you are on top of the mountain over there and you can overlook the entire city area. It's just beautiful. So anyway, we were there and I ordered a shrimp dish and had some rice and so forth, but it was served with French fries. So I asked the server, I said, is there any way I can have patacones, tostones, some of you call it tostones, instead of the French fries? And he fluttered his eyelashes and, and it was kind of cute. And I thought he was saying, oh, there we go. Here she wants to change the menu. No, he was saying, absolutely, of course. So, when our family, Daniel said, he said, no, he's saying yes. I'm like, oh, great. So he brings the dish out and he says, here you are, my darling. And it was exactly what I wanted. It was like, one of the sayings that they have there is, pura vida. And it's like pure life, all life. And that's really pura vida. They are amazing. They are an amazing set of people. And I'm half Costa Rican, so I gotta put that in there. But anyway, so again, take it off your list and make that your first destination for 2025, or at least get it in there. If you are able to take 2 or 3 vacations, then do that. Because this year is to slay. This year is to slay. We are no longer asleep. We are awakened to who we are. 2024, we spent that year, going through a journey of self-discovery. Well, guess what? We have gone back to our place of innocence. We have discovered who we are and recognize that we are continuing to evolve into a greater understanding of who we are. We're becoming consciously aware. And as that happens, you grow in confidence and more self assertive. This is the year of identity. Remember, I said to you that by the time you're 5 years old, your mind has been indoctrinated to form your personality, your thoughts, your way of being, and so forth. By your parents, by teachers, religion, and all of that. So you are shaped into a person that it's not really you. So unless you have gone back to reestablish, to rediscover who you really are and what is your true identity, most of us, I say us, but I've kind of overcome that whole situation, go through life being a people pleaser, afraid. We worry. We don't have the confidence. We doubt ourselves, and we, go through life with all those, emotions and thoughts and attributes that really do not serve us. And I'm here to tell you, my friend, that your greatest attribute, your greatest power is your ability to think. Your ability to think. And once you recognize that and submit yourself to your own thoughts, you will grow in a greater understanding, greater discernment, which is the essence of wisdom. The ability to discern, the ability, whenever I'm dealing with a situation and people say, do your research, my source of research at this point in my life is not Google. It's not Wikipedia. It's not YouTube. My source of for research is I simply get with myself and I allow things to come to me. And I allow things to come to, when I think about it or when I have something to resolve, I allow it to come to me. And it does come, it will come. And when it comes, you discern, you're able to discern correctly. You get the answers. So you don't have to follow somebody else's uh, concept or perspective of a matter. Of course, there are certain things that are factual that you cannot dismiss. Facts, demonstrable proof, evidence that you cannot, if you're dealing with science, but I'm talking about life itself. When it comes to you, when it comes to the things that you need to do, the way you need to be, how you need to how you can bring things into your presence. Some people call it manifesting, how you can get the things you want, and all of that. Your greatest power is your ability to think. And it's not just think any thought, it's your ability to think, to reason, to discern, and make decisions that are good for you. Make decisions that are good for you. You don't have to worry, you don't have to be apprehensive, you don't have to wonder, you don't have to be afraid, you don't have to doubt. You can proceed with confidence, with assertiveness, and with courage. Because when you think something, you have got to have the courage to execute. You have to have the courage to execute whatever it is you're trying to um, decipher, to learn. You're wondering about this situation, of that situation. What should I do? Everything resides on the inside of you. And when you come to know who you are, I asked someone the other day, as a matter of fact, sometimes we need help and we don't recognize that we need help. You know, you some people need a coach. I'm a life coach, a transformational life coach. I am an identity coach. And I was talking to this person the other day, over the weekend, and we were talking, and we had some situations to discuss and so forth. And this person said, you know what, I need help. I started to, and I don't even know how I got into this coaching mode, but you see things in others sometimes that they don't even recognize about themselves. And even if they do recognize things about themselves, they don't have the courage to admit it, to recognize it, to acknowledge it, and to own it. And this person said, I need that. I need coaching. And they became a client. And when I talk about coaching, it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out sessions. You can start with pretty much. I always recommend at least 6 sessions. However you decide it, twice a week, once a week, 6 weeks. 6 sessions. And I've had where people say, you know what? After the 6 weeks, no, I need you. I need that. I'm not, you know, good on my own yet. I just need the words, the encouragement, the guides, and so forth. And that person became a client. My point is this: if you are going through life waiting and hoping and believing and trusting and just some people, I heard somebody this morning said, why am I the one that's going through all this trial, this struggle, this test, and all of that, when some people are having lives so good? Well, guess what? You ought not be that person. You ought to be the person that is living your life unapologetically. You should be getting pleasure out of life. You should be living every day with pleasure. Things come up. We are living in a world where there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening, politically, culturally, socially, and all that. But guess what? I had a conversation with my husband uh, this morning, and I said, you know what? Because what I have done, with all that's happening around us, I said, you can read this. Well, I'm meaning me. I could read this and read that, but I have set boundaries to um, all the information that I allow myself to receive, all the things that I allow myself to see, so that I can stay focused on me. Because 2025 is a year that we are slaying for ourselves. We are slaying, getting rid of the stuff that no longer serves us, and we are slaying through life boldly and just bodaciously. And I want to encourage you to do the same. You cannot, what I have come to learn, and want to share this with you, you cannot solve the problems of the world. In my case, wherever I can help, I help. Wherever I can contribute, I contribute. Wherever I can give a helping, a word of encouragement, I do that. I do the things that I can do, but it doesn't preclude me living a good life, a great life. It doesn't preclude that I should, inhibit myself or hold back from the pleasures of life. No, I'm going to enjoy life and enjoy it to the fullest. And I have been. My whole life has to do with pleasure. My whole relationships. If I see a relationship is not going a certain way, then, I either correct it, or I know that it's come to its end. Some relationships are just have an end date. Here in 2024, I realized that, or I said, I need to revisit a lot of these, some of my relationships, and I have some relationships. They have an end date, and you come to that understanding. And sometimes it hurts because you may be, pouring into someone, and you really enjoy that, but it's not reciprocated. Then you know what? You have to recognize the signs. You have to discern. Now, sometimes what I have learned is that people have issues, like, they may have issues. Some people may have health issues, which really puts you on a down slope. Well, it takes a different type of energy to be an encouragement to those people, especially if they are your friends. It's a whole different mindset. But the point is, you have got to focus on your life. You have got to focus on your life, and you have got to, going back to the person that I was talking to over the weekend, and I said to her, I said, what is your brand? What is your brand? When people think of you, what do they think of? What do they know you as? What is it that she had no idea. She had no idea. She had no idea, and she had no idea who she is. She just doesn't know. She doesn't have her identity. But, it's someone that is successful in her world, and a somebody that is I don't want to say a fighter, but somebody that is determined and works and provide well for her family, and all of that. There's so many good qualities and attributes that, for someone, they don't even see it. All they see is that, they work, they provide, and sometimes they don't even get the gratitude that they deserve. But, I said, as long as you know what you have done and who you are, and all the things you've done, and don't try to play humble about it. If you know who you are, then you own it. You admit it. And I'm saying the same to you. Don't let anyone define you. Don't let it, don't wait for affirmation. If you get affirmation, that's great. If you get, you don't need approval, but if you get approval from someone while you're doing, great job, so and so, then receive it, accept it, but don't minimize yourself, who you are, because the whole idea is to know and recognize who you are. your identity. And with that comes a brand. What do people think of when they think of you? What do they think of? What comes to their mind? What is your brand? What is your brand? What do people know you as? And if you don't know what that is, my friend, then you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. But the thing is, it's not the external things that defines you. It's the things from within. It's always, look within for without. Look within. Look within. Everything is within. And comes a point where you're going to have to get that. And now 2025, it's another year. We're racking up another year. Of course, we know it's the calendar, but still, we see it as another season in our lives. Don't let another year go by with you doing nothing significant for yourself. You know, free yourself, loose yourself to enjoy life and allow life to hug you and come to you and love you, and know that you are well deserving of it, of all of it. Don't put restrictions on yourself. But comes a point where you have to really hone in on who you are and all the things that's been a burden, that's been stifling, that's held you back. You've got to get rid of all that. And in most cases, it's by a simple decision. Because, I repeat, your greatest power is your ability to think. Think of that. Your ability to think and to discern. Think about those two attributes: your ability to think, and in doing so, think, logic, reasoning, and with that, you begin to discern. And with that, comes a certain element of assertiveness, of confidence. That's why, with all the stuff that's going on, I said to my husband, certain things just simply doesn't affect me. I don't allow myself to be, to be influenced by this, by that, the way I want it to be, the way I want. No, 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 no. I want to travel. I want to have a good relationship with with my spouse, with my sweetheart, with my family, with my friends. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life. I want to help people, lift them up, and help them open their eyes and recognize their worth, their value, and start living a life, because that is the whole purpose. It is pleasure. Too many people talk about, you know, we have kind of allowed ourselves to believe and to live some kind of way, thinking that life is a struggle, it's a test, it's a trial, and that we need to overcome this and we need to break through that. If you have that kind of a mindset, that is the way your life is going to be. I'm thinking, my life is fun. It's it's positive, it's optimistic, it's I am flourishing in everything that I do. Just flourishing. My life is to flourish. So is your life. And nothing, if you have kids, still raising kids, enjoy them best you can. Enjoy them and teach them the same thing so that they can come into a place where they are have an element of independence. That's it. An element of independence, because we get to a place where we depend on to external factors to teach us, not knowing that everything we need to know comes from within. And every change we need to make, again, comes from within. You just need to recognize it. We were talking the other day. I was talking to my husband the other day about, we're talking about identity, because that, in talking with people, you realize that most people simply don't know who they are, and that's why we go off doing things. Some people get envious, they're jealous, and once you know who you are, you realize that there's no need for that. Why? Because you are such a unique individual that you are unmatched, you are unequal, you are different from anyone else. You are extraordinary. Your thumb, your print, your digital ID is uniquely yours. That's why they can, you can do a finger ID, and if I try to finger ID in someone else's laptop, in somebody's uh iMac, it doesn't open. Because why? Mine is so uniquely mine, and theirs is uniquely theirs. And once you recognize that, you don't have to compete with anyone. You don't have to compete. You don't have to be think someone is getting ahead of you, or angry or jealous. Someone may have a vision for something that doesn't even. My I can be supportive of my friends. Why? Because what they're going after is not. That's not what I want. I want something else. So I stay focused on what I want, and I encourage you to do the same and make it worth your while. And it all has to do with, what do you identify with? What lifestyle do you want? What lifestyle uh, do you identify with? So my husband and I were talking, and we were talking about Prince Harry, and I said that uh, you know Princess Diana had two sons, Prince Harry and William. And I said, from a very young age, you could sense Prince Harry just bursting out of that cocoon, just bursting out. Why? Because his personality, his makeup did not coincide, did not resonate with a royal lifestyle. He wanted to dance, he wanted to travel, he wanted to do this, that, the other. And that's why I think one time he was found in Vegas dancing on top of a table. And, here we are, the royal, that's before he was married to the Duchess, Meghan. That's before he was married, and he just did things that were so outside of the box. He got rid of the box. As a matter of fact, he was labeled as a rebel, as just unconventional behavior that would be expected from a royal person. He belonged to royalty. I mean, I'm talking of real royal family. And he was just always different. He was just so different. He did not identify with the British uh, royal stature. I mean, he just wanted something else, and you could see his whole life. He wanted freedom to be himself. And I said to my husband and his wife, Megan, rescued him. That is my interpretation of all of it. She rescued him. Now, how did she do that? He met her. He met her, and of course, they got married. She was there. For whatever reason, things did not work out. She did not, you know, she wasn't comfortable in that environment. Knowing who she is, her potential, and all that had to do with self discovery. She had that. And I would venture to say I would venture to say that it was her suggestion. You know what? I'm out of here. Now think of that. Think of that. Think of that relative to where you are. Here's this guy. He would have been like, what? the time, uh, Charles William himself. Think of that. Um, you know, the possibility of becoming King of England at some point, because you don't know how it could have transpired, and to give up his throne, his position, to just pursue a life of freedom and of fulfillment and of meaning. Just imagine that whole dynamics. That is madness. You know, if you are one that pay attention to, stay relevant to things that are happening in the world, you know how that transpired. And the guy left. He gave it all up for freedom, for freedom to live the life he wants to live. And now, here he is. He left all across the ocean, Great Britain, and came to America. And now he is free and living the life. He's got two beautiful children, and I think it's Archie and Lilibeth. He's got a beautiful wife, and they are living their lives in the freedom and the ability to be themselves. When they come out with something, people are interested in Prince Harry and Meghan. That's, we want to hear about them. But my thing is, look at when somebody makes a decision. When somebody makes a decision, he had a lot to give up. He had a lot to give up because all the privilege that he had, all the privileges that he had, the security, protection, and all of that, he had a lot to give up. And he did it because he loves his wife. And it also was a path to the freedom to live the life he wanted and not be constrained by rules and laws and things that govern the royal lifestyle. He left it all. He gave it up. To me, that is like, wow, and I, when I was talking to my husband, I said, and I was kidding with him. I said, and this is for those of you that are going through this religious deconstruction. Those of you that are bound by religious doctrine and so forth, and having a hard time to breaking loose from all the indoctrination and so forth. And so I said to my husband, and you rescued me. I said, you rescued me. I said, because if you hadn't, when I met my husband was not religious at all. And together we went to church for many years. And until one day he just said, that's it. I am done with this doctrine. He just could not relate because he grew up in a different setting. I did too, but then, later on in life, I became a born again Christian and follow that and so forth. So I said to him, you rescued me. And he said, yes, I did. That's because if you hadn't, I would have remained the same person I was. Year after year after year after year after year with no changes. He said, look around, look at the people that you knew. He said, look at your, yeah. And he's right. He's right, because I was so indulged so immersed in religion and religious doctrine and so forth that it would have never occurred to me to like, but while I was in it, I had all these questions. But now that it's been, this year makes 16 years since we are not in any kind of religion or church or any kind of religious doctrine, or all that stuff, spirituality, all of that. That's not part of our lives. Um, but we live a great life, good morals, good friends, good everything. And I said to him that if it hadn't been for him, I would have been in the same the same situation. It would have never occurred to me, I don't think, to just leave, to just leave, because I and of course I was single when my husband met me. I was obviously single, career driven, and so forth. And I don't regret it, not 1 minute, not 1 minute. So, but when I say he rescued me from concepts, belief, doctrines, things that I look upon now. And I find out that those really, once I did, again, not only my research to learn factual things, to learn some truth that applied to the belief system that I held. Once I discovered the truth about that, that settled it. But at the same time, my own discernment showed me. And that's why, when I read, when I think about heaven and hell, I'm not wired for heaven. Heaven is not a place that I want to go to. And I'm not wired for hell. Heaven is not a place that I'm going. Now, if you are of a Christian doctrine, then, that will kind of blow your mind, because in your mind, it's either heaven or hell. Well, I'm not wired for heaven. And it's funny because even while I was a Christian, that was my conversation with God. That just seems boring. I don't want to sit up in heaven worshiping that. You know what? And I feel so complete, because I'm saying, okay, if the Christian God, if that's the person that I'm dealing with, I would be a favorite. Why? Because I am authentic to myself and to the person that I, at that time, in my mind, because it's all, God only exists in your mind. The existence of God is in your mind, and that's it. So to that God that existed in my mind, I was honest. I would say, I am not wired for heaven. That's not, I don't want to spend eternity. I don't want to spend a minute. I don't want heaven. I do not want heaven. That is not a place that I want to go to. And I wasn't afraid of hell, because, again, it's all a concept. Heaven is a concept. Hell is a concept. And then, of course, I came into, I think it's Ecclesiastes, where it says, the dead knows nothing. The dead is dead. So, when I share that, my friend, is not to create any kind of offense to anyone. It's just because I share that with joy. That is my truth. That is my truth. And that's why I can navigate through life, things working well, having good relationships, and just taking full responsibility for myself, and just enjoying life the way I do. And you can, whatever works for you. That's why I'm telling you, there is no blueprint as to how you do this. All you have to do is know that your greatest power is in your ability to think. And once you've got that down pat, you can think, and you can think, and then you trust your thoughts, you trust your mind. You've got to trust it, because if you don't trust your own mind, you're trusting somebody else's. You're trusting what somebody else says or do, or somebody else's concept of life. And that's where the frustration comes in. That's where anxiety. Somebody said that everything gives her anxiety. They become anxious about life. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be peaceful. Peaceful, and you walking in health, and you figuring out how to resolve your own problems, your own issues, things that come up. You are able to do that, my friend. But if we go through life with people telling us that we are limited, pointing out our limitations and our inadequacies. So then you grow and you think, you need to hear from this person, you need a word from that person, you need encouragement from this person, and you don't trust who you are. In the meantime, all the answers are within. All the answers are within. And if you think about it, touching on the religious portion of this, everybody is gambling. Everybody is gambling. Everybody that's religious, you're all gambling because you may think that your religion is the it, and the other person knows that theirs is the truth. The Buddhists, the Hindu, Islam, Hebrew, the Jews, the Christians, all of you think that yours is the right religion. None of you know. No, and all of you will say, no, mine is the only one because so, and so. But you don't know. Everybody is gambling. Everybody is gambling. All, there are like, what, is it 18,000 different religions in the world or whatever? You're all gambling. Everybody is gambling. Everybody that has a religious mind, everybody that is following a religious doctrine, you are gambling. You don't see it that way. You may not believe that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Because if you get someone that's Islam from the Muslim religion, Islamic religion, and you talk to that person, because the thing is this, I'm going to use Christianity because that's the religion that I followed for years. And when I was a Christian, I knew nothing about Islam. I know a little bit about the Jewish religion, the Torah and all that, the 5 first book of the Bible. And but I knew nothing about Buddhism, Hinduism, or any of that. I didn't know anything about that. Nothing about that. Now I do. And I did a little comparative religious study to just see what they're all about. But have you done that? No. So how do you know? How do you know? Oh, it's faith. Well, they also think that theirs is by faith. You eat pork, the Christians eat pork. Those of the Islamic religion, they don't eat pork. I don't think. The Jews, they don't eat pork. So you have different, he thinks his is right. You think yours is right. Everybody's in a gamble. So do you see why you have to pull yourself aside and stand in your own responsible self, taking responsibility for yourself, for your thoughts, for your decisions, for your life, and not be ruled by fear? Not be ruled by fear. If there was a God that came down and talked to me, I would talk to him just like, that's why he said, what he says, command ye me. Command ye me. In the Bible, I think it's in Isaiah. He says, command ye me. And I command, this is years ago when I was kind of going through my search to figure out what was real and what not and so forth. I'm not guided by that anymore, but he says, command ye me. And then he says, come on, let's reason together. Let us reason together. You know why? Because the same God that you think inspired those writers to write has nothing to do with the Bible, but you follow that. And that's why it's not sustainable. That's why people cannot follow the rules, follow the laws, follow the commandments. Why? Because they're not sustainable. But me being a good person, my morals is better defined than the morals that you think the Bible offers. The Bible is not a moral book. Read it from the beginning, from Genesis to Revelation. Read it and you will see Now you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And that's where that's where cognitive dissonance kicks in, because it doesn't line up with what you believe and your behavior. You go into this thing, or if you read it with a confirmation bias, then you would, there's no learning for you because you already go in with a biased mind. But it comes a time, and now is the time. We're in 2025. This is another year that you have racked up. And it's the year for you to end the struggle, end the tests, end the trials. Who's taught you all of that? That is all religious construct. No tests, no struggle, no trials. I mean, if I have navigated through life for 16 years, I mean, it's been blissful. And I say that, and with no humility, it's just the truth. It's just the truth, because when we were in the mountain at this beautiful restaurant, and with this family, they own, I don't know, acres of stuff, friends of our family and so forth. So we were there, and they asked me, Noel, my husband was over there with the other guys or whatever. So or taking pictures. Anyway, so they asked me something like, they said, well, I wanted to know how long we were married. And I said, 33 wonderful years. And so Juan Manuel said, oh, that's so great. So he said, up and down, sube y baja. I mean, and I looked at, I paused for a second, and I'm trying to think how to respond, because the only downside that I could think of is, when my mom died, when my my brother-in-law, my husband's brother, died, when his wife died. Those were sad moments. And then my niece said, yeah, but those are external things. And then she, knowing our lives, she said, then I said no. And then I got so emotional, because I tried to think what were the ups and downs. And then I said, no, we have had 33 amazing years. So later on, as we were, going home, so forth, and I said to Rebecca, I said, they kind of caught me off guard, because I didn't know when they said all those years of sube y baja means up and down, ups and downs. I said, I didn't know what to say. And she said, that's because the way you see life. She says, because you could take anything and make the best out of it and resolve the situation. She said, that's because of the way you look at life. You don't look at life as a test or a trial or a struggle. But I said that it's been 16 years since we left religion. But even before that, my life has been just great. And I have been through experiences, loss of a job, uh, loss of my apartment. I've been through situations, but not having a car. Those are years back. In my younger, I've been through all of that. But it's like it's always resolved itself without me feeling burdened with sorrow or victimized or sad. I just always figured out there's got to be a way to resolve this. And that's what she said. She said it's because the way you look at life. It's because the way you see things. And when she and I talk, because we talk a lot on the phone and whatever, and I'm always encouraging her and telling her, no, but this is this and this is that. And she said, but, I have to see things to believe it, and all of that. And I come to a place where in my mind, I say I know things. I don't believe, because believe casts an element of doubt. I know this, I know this, I know this. And if things changes, it is what it is. It is what it is. Life, it is what it is. So what? So what if I am, say I know this, and then it turns out to be that way? It is what it is. It is what it is. That statement just frees you up, because you don't, if I'm thinking this way, or if I say this and it doesn't turn out this way, so what? It is what it is. And I encourage you, my friend, you've got to, again, pay attention to the most powerful attribute, your ability to think. And with that grows your ability to discern correctly, to discern rightly of situations around you, having to do with your own life. Absolutely. And you have it in you. You have it in you. You have it in you. Comparing to what uh, Prince Harry gave up. And that's big. I'm using him as a reference because he gave it up. He gave up his throne. Why? He wanted freedom. And you look at them now in pictures and so forth, whether you like them or not is irrelevant. I'm not concerned about whether you like them or not. That's not the point. The point is he left his throne. He left his royal environment where he could have lived. He could have married a British girl and lived the life at, Windsor Castle, and have babies and just go through that whole lifestyle. But his own identity, his personality said, no, that is not what I want. I want freedom. I want to go to Vegas and have a couple drinks, and that was him. And get on the table and dance, and I mean, that was his way of expressing himself. For me, it's, I want to get on a plane and travel, and I want to go places, and I want to be able to dance. I want to go on a cruise, and I want to dance, and I want to, I want to stay in love with my husband, and I want to keep things fresh and salacious with my husband, and just have a great time and keep things fresh. I enjoy that. Keep things fresh and relevant. We stay relevant. Do fun stuff. Go out to nice restaurants, or sometime go to the local, uh, what do you call it, cafeteria. Because we do that. We go to nice fancy restaurants, and sometimes we're like, oh no, let's just go to the cafeteria, which I do not like, but sometimes he likes to go, and of course we go together. But that's the whole thing. You live the life, create the life, know what you want, and take away the limits, take away the blinders, take away the limitations, take away all the boundaries, all the things, all the thoughts and the ideas that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't live this way, you can't have this, you can't have that. Book the flight to Costa Rica. Book it. Okay, book it. You have like 24 hours before you can pay it. Book it. Just book it. Book it and screenshot it and hang on to it. Plaster it on your vision board. I say Costa Rica because we just came back from there, and I know how wonderful it is. And I can tell you, you will have a good time. It can be Europe. We have done that. But of course, when we go to Europe, it's not just Italy. It's Italy, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Amsterdam. We go to different places, and we love it. But we know Costa Rica because that is, my husband is from there, and we know it well. So book it. Do it. Slay. This year is to slay. And if you are in business and doing things to increase your moolah, then stay focused. Don't get distracted by all the things that are happening around us. Because guess what? Things will always happen. So don't get, there are a lot of things that are happening that I don't like, that I do not like. But you know what? Look, I'm like, Cynthia, you need to focus here. I need to look within and I need to stay focused on me, my happiness, my peace, my contentment, my joy. I need to focus on that because guess what? Nobody else is doing that for me. So I need to take care of my mind, acknowledge that my greatest attribute is my ability to think. That is so powerful. If you can just get that. And when I was talking about discerning and things like that, and when I was religious and how I knew that I didn't want to, go to heaven or whatever, that was so liberating for me. That's why I have no fear. If I expire tomorrow, I have no fear about that. Because I know that's not where I want to go. I don't want to go to heaven. I'm not worried for heaven, and I'm not worried for hell. Those are all concepts. And until you can prove me wrong, not even me, because if you can prove yourself wrong or contrary to that, then you'll know that it's all a concept in your mind. So, my friend, for 2025, make it be a year where you think of slaying, just slaying through life and cutting out the things that no longer suit you, no longer serves you, and just getting rid of it. Could be relationships, situations, it could be a job. If you're unhappy there, don't think you can't find another job or create a job. Become an entrepreneur. Don't, if you're in a situations where you're unhappy, get out. Relationship, job, situations, your living arrangement, whatever it is, get the wheels moving and you will see how things will expand for you. Doors will open for you because it is all in your hand. It comes from within, not without. And with that, my friend, I'm going to leave you with that. Again, I hope you have had a good start. I've had a great start for 2025. And here where I live, we are expecting like 6 inches of snow and all of that. And I've got my snow boots. It doesn't snow very much here, but there's this Arctic blast that they're expecting, but that's fine. We're ready for it. And in the meantime, for those of you that may recognize that you need help in terms of a coach, again, I'm a transformational life coach, but I've also been, I talk a lot about identity, and all of it has to do with that. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't even know what your brand is. But think of it: when people think of you, when they look at you, when they think of you, what is it that they see? How do they describe you? I know what my brand is. But it's important that you know what your brand is. Drop me a note at thecynthialinoxshow.com. If you have any questions and if you need to touch base with me. Now, see down here, these icons over here. If you can't meet me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time here, then check out the icons. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can check out the show 24/7. And until then, I will see you next. Well, in the meantime, you have a great weekend because, after today, I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a great weekend. And again, remember, 2025 is for slaying. Okay? Chao, amigos. Luego. Cuídense. Chao, au revoir.